Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Sports Plug. Today we are going to be starting a very special segment where we're going to be previewing these NFL games. So of course we will have this Week 12 preview show starting today and finishing off for the rest of the season. So usually we do our week by week recap shows. Well, we might as well go ahead and start off with the preview shows as well and talk about the upcoming games for the slate. Now, this is Thanksgiving weekend, so we have a second helping of football games on this Sunday slate. Not just Sunday. You like that, huh? Not just Sunday. Monday games. And also we have leftovers on Tuesday. So if you like Thanksgiving, hey, we got a couple of extra plates for you for NFL football. And let's go ahead and recap these Turkey Bowl matchups that we just had, and start off with the Texans and the Lions. Now, the best thing about this game is that it led to Matt Patricia's firing, because it's not about the Texans winning this game. It's more about the Detroit Lions as an organization probably winning because they have finally let go that cancer we've been calling him, Matt Patricia.
I don't think the organization is winning at all. I don't think they can win anything. But I think this is them confirming their losing streak.
Nah, I definitely agree on that because the Lions has had years and years and decades and generations of just bad
being
things. Yes,
terrible.
just being terrible. But one thing we will, of course, caveat is the, of course, excellent performance on a week by week, month by month basis from Deshaun Watson.
Yes,
he's continued to impress and do the things that you're able to do with chicken shit, as we would like to call it. He's making chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yes, he is.
And to be completely honest, I think he definitely needs to be thrown in the MVP conversation. I know record matters. I know that
record plays a big part in that.
Of course. But if we are looking at body of work and we are looking at the things that he has to play with, Deshaun Watson has to be in that conversation.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and anybody who's watched him all year, I think would definitely agree he needs to be in that conversation. The problem you're going to have is, like I said, and like you already acknowledged, record plays a huge part in that. Like, no matter what you want to do, you could be the best player on the worst team in the league. People just aren't going to give you that vote for MVP because of your team's record, which I think we should get away from that. I think that we should definitely start moving towards what is this individual doing for their team, because let's be honest, without Deshaun Watson, Texans don't have as many wins.
The Texans have one win. The Texans have one win, period. I mean, they look like the Jaguars if they don't have Deshaun Watson, period. Yeah. And also that goes with a guy like an Aaron Donald. You know, we talk about the MVP award. We have to get back to what it really represents, and that is that most valuable player. That this award has gone to too many quarterbacks that do not deserve it. I'm just being completely honest. Because if you have one good year, that's cool and all, that's great. But if you look at a guy like Aaron Donald, what he's done over the last 5 years, you tell me he doesn't deserve at least one? But again, I understand how the voting works. I got it. But anyways, let's get with the comments right quick. Shout out to Lorenzo Guy. He says Matt Patricia is a bad head coach. He has decent skills. He's a decent skills coach. I apologize, but he cannot get anything done to motivate his team. He also says X is about to hit us with some Skip Bayless Pro Football Focus stats. No, sir, I am not, because I do not care about stats at all. I watch film, and film will always prove me right. All right, let's go ahead and finish it up with like we used to call them, the Indians versus the Cowboys game. We cannot call that anymore. Of course, it's the Washington football team versus the Cowboys. And this game pretty much went the way that we all thought it was going to go, correct? The Cowboys losing on Thanksgiving. That's what we used to seeing.
It's the same thing over and over again, so yeah.
And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move along because the Cowboys don't get no love on this channel, so I do apologize for that. And to caveat what Greg said, Aaron Donald has probably been the best player in the league, regardless of position, over the last 3 or 4 years. And I definitely agree with that as well, Greg. Check it out on YouTube. And again, that's just something that we need to figure out as well. Same thing in the NBA with, LeBron. Everybody talk about LeBron probably could win the MVP every year he plays in the NBA, and that is very true. But again, it's just the way that they give out that award. All right, on to this week's slate of games. Dolphins versus the Jets. The Dolphins should take care of business in this game. The Jets, of course, are still winless. And the Dolphins, if they want to stay on track with the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East, they have to take care of business here going to New York. New Jersey.
They need a big bounce back right here. They can't afford to lose this game. I think if they want to stay with the Bills, and to be honest, I'm picking the Dolphins, but I hope that the Jets win this game, just so I can come on the recap show and laugh at you for picking the Dolphins to beat to beat the Bills for the division. So that's all I want.
Wow. I understand where you're coming from on that. I got you, but that's why we just have to wait and see for a couple more weeks so I can laugh back at you week 17 when the Dolphins win the division, but we just have to wait and see. And again, if you guys want, checking out on the bottom ticker, we have our picks, X and also Ishmael, depending on the game. We, of course, have our picks for that upcoming game. Is there anything that you want to that you might see in this game that might, give you a little open eye look, for this game?
No, I just want to see improved play from Tua. I just need Tua to play well.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off on that. Tua is actually out for this game with a swollen thumb. Yes, Fitzpatrick is actually starting this game. And yes, reports from Miami were saying that it is nothing severe, but they just want to keep him out for cautious reasons. So.
Okay, this is BS. He played poorly. They trying to give him a week off just to rest the nerves or whatever. I don't know. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the swollen thumb nonsense. They need this win. Whatever.
Hey, I agree, but I think Fitzpatrick could get it done. We've seen it already. This is the Jets.
Yeah.
Take care of your business. Get on out of there, and the Dolphins will see what they have to work with next week. All right, next game: Cardinals versus the Patriots. If this was Tom Brady's Patriots, this game might go a little bit differently playing in Foxborough. But just because of the inconsistency with the Cam Newton Patriots of this year, I have to go with the Cardinals. And this also, I think, will be a very good road test for the Cardinals.
I agree. I think with the situation that they're in right now, where it's not a guarantee, if they don't win that division, they're definitely going on the road. With the wild card spot that they'll have. So this is a good test, except for the Patriots aren't very good. So the Cardinals, this is another one of those games that we talk about all the time. Handle your business, be the team you're supposed to beat. They need to go in there, take care of business, and get out of there with a win.
No, I definitely agree. It'd be very exciting as well to see how Hopkins play in an environment like Foxborough, of course, with a guy like Bill Belichick watching him, because who knows, maybe in a year or two he might be playing for the Patriots. I don't see Hopkins being in Arizona the rest of his career. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he moves around. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. All right, Panthers and Vikings. This game right here, Ish and I had a couple of minutes to weigh this game out before we came on to the show, because this is a pick 'em. I honestly feel like this is one of those 50-50. You can go either way. Every time I pick the Panthers, I lose. So I feel like, honestly, I'm going to lose again. But like Ish said in the pre-show, Teddy Bridgewater is starting this week for the Panthers. So depending on how you feel about that, you might want to go the Panthers way. Some people might not want to go the Panthers way. How you feel about that, Ish?
I mean, that was really the reason why I decided not to go with them. I think Teddy plays too safe. I think there's going to be a lot of emotions going back to Minnesota, where his career all started. And I can't overlook Dalvin Cook in that rushing attack for Minnesota. Minnesota's been playing pretty well. They do have a poor record. They have lost a couple games here. Believe they lost last week to the Cowboys. They lost last week to the Cowboys, or was that 2 weeks ago?
That was 2 weeks ago. Last week was the
third game. Yeah. My bad.
You good?
They lost last week. No, they lost last week to the Cowboys. So
I thought technically last week would be my bad.
Yeah, I know.
I got you.
And I would say that was a close game. And I think that the Cowboys just played up a level rather than the Vikings playing down to the Cowboys level. So I think that the Vikings probably going to beat the Panthers here. I hope the Panthers win, but just looking at it with Teddy coming back from an injury and everything, I got to pick the Vikings.
I was just worried about rocking with Kirk Cousins. I'm just I can't do it. When it's crunch time, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
I understand.
All right, next game, Browns versus the Jaguars. And to be honest with you, this color that I'm using for this Brown and Jaguars game is pretty much what this game probably is going to be. It's probably going to be a shit show. The Browns should run over the Jaguars with their rushing attack, and this game should be over with by mid-third quarter. But knowing the Browns will probably keep them in the game unnecessarily, and this game might be closer than the expert thinks.
Yeah, I think so. I think it might be closer. I was actually thinking of picking the upset here, except for the fact that they got what's the name starting at quarterback?
Luke, not Luke.
No, it's not Luton.
Not Luke. God dang it.
Is it
Mike Glennon?
Mike Glennon.
They
got Mike Glennon starting at quarterback. So for that reason, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and pick the imposters, the Browns. I mean, let me just say this about the Browns, all right?
Please go ahead and say what you need to say.
The Browns lost to the Ravens week 1. They beat the Bengals, who you would expect them to beat. They beat the Redskins, who you would expect them to beat. The Cowboys, who you expect them to beat. They magnificently beat the Colts, who I kind of respect that win. They lost to the Steelers. They beat the Bengals again. They lost to the Raiders. They beat the Texans in the worst game in NFL history. Then they beat the Eagles. All I'm trying to point out here is that the Browns have had probably one of the easiest schedules so far. Because I think they have won every game that they were supposed to win against these really bad teams. And then all the teams that are actual playoff teams or playoff contenders, they've lost those games with the exception of the Colts. So to me, they're still imposters. The only reason why I'm picking them is because it's the Jaguars. But the Browns are the biggest imposters out there this year.
I 100% agree. Now, what I will say to that is you don't make your schedule, you play your schedule. So
I agree.
So the only unfortunate thing about that with the Browns is all you could say is, look, we play in our schedule. We're winning the games that are laid out in front of us. So when they do get into the playoffs, because if they're able to get a wild card spot, it's on them to prove to everybody else that they are not these imposter Browns that we think that they are. So time will tell, right?
Yeah, time will tell.
Time will tell. They still got to play the Ravens, and we'll see how that goes as well.
Yeah, they got the Oilers next week, I think.
No, we played them last week and we beat them already.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so Giants versus Bengals. Oops, sorry about that. Giants versus Bengals. This is one of those games, to be completely honest, I would have picked the Bengals if Joe Burrow didn't get hurt. If Joe Burrow didn't get hurt week prior to, I would have picked the upset because of just the way that Joe Burrow was balling. I think, he
playing all right.
The way he beat the Titans, I knew he was going to beat a decent team sooner or later. And why not beat the Giants? I mean, this ain't a good team. I feel like Joe Burrow at home, he would have had a good game and he would have beat the Giants. But because Joe Burrow is out for the rest of the season, I went ahead and picked the Giants.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I think this is one of those throwaway games where who really cares who wins this game? I don't think anybody does, other than people who root for these teams. So, I picked the Giants.
No problem. But yeah, other than that, like I said, ain't too much we really need to talk about other than see y'all boys next year. Because this season is over with for those two teams. All right, Chargers versus Bills. Now, this is a game I want to talk about right quick because as much as we love some Anthony Lynn, I'm very worried. I'm concerned because I do not think, and I said this since week 6, I don't think he will be back next year as the Chargers head coach, because at the moment they are 3-7, and after this loss, which most likely they will lose to the Bills, they'll be 3-8. And I'm not saying that he won't be able to get an opportunity next year, but it's very hard for a black coach to be able to get an opportunity like that once when you lose those types of games. Do not talk about, oh, Marvin Lewis was with the Bengals for 20 years. Please don't say that, okay? We know why Marvin Lewis was there, because they like mediocrity in Cincinnati, okay? Mm-hmm. But the LA Chargers, for them to have a team like they do on both sides of the ball, especially next year when the guys that are injured come back, I think the Chargers are, and I've said this since the beginning of the season, I will say this next year, the Chargers will be a top 6 or 7 team next year if they are able to bring all their pieces back with Anthony Lynn.
I think you alluded to the reason why he's still going to have a chance next year. They're missing pieces, and when those pieces come back, they should be good. And honestly, they've looked good this year. Although their record is poor, they are not a team that has looked 3-7. They are a team that has looked a lot better than that. They were just young. They missed pieces. I think Justin Herbert has come into his game now. He's starting to play a little bit better. In the pre-show, we talked about it. I almost picked the Chargers, but then I looked at that Bills defense, a top 5 defense. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't come to pick against that top 5 defense, but I wouldn't be surprised if they play well. I think the key for Anthony Lynn is for the team to play well the rest of the season, regardless of record. As long as they look good, I think he'll get another shot. If they start to turn and look bad, I think that's when it's not going to go.
And I completely understand where you're coming from. I definitely agree. Now, what Ish is pretty much saying is at least go out there and fight, go out there and compete, because the losses that they have on a season, they've lost their games by only 1 possession. So It's not like they're getting blown out by 20, 30 points. They are competing. And like we say in previous shows all the time, they are learning how to win. And and sometimes you have to lose to be able to win in the future. So It's going to be very interesting to see how the Chargers move forward with this organization. But the Bills, though, man, hey, if they win this one, the Dolphins win, hey, the Dolphins are going to have to, they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure it out. All right, Titans versus Colts. This is the game. This is the game I've been speaking upon. I feel like an evil villain right now. My master plan is coming together.
I don't know what you do.
The reason why I feel this way is because, like I said 2 weeks ago when the Titans played the Colts, if we lost, I would not have been mad, because this game is the one that is very important. This Sunday game in Indy was the most important, no matter if we won or lost on Thursday 2 weeks ago. The reason why I say that is because coming into this game, both teams are now 7-3. Both teams, I wouldn't say they're completely identical, but for the most part, They are about what and what when it comes to team makeup of each other. They are physical. They want to cause turnover. They want to win the turnover battle. They want to run the ball. They want to play sound football. This game is just about minimizing your mistakes. They both know each other very well. The Colts have won 20 out of the last 24 games against the Tennessee Titans. If the Tennessee Titans want to finally make everybody in the NFL take them seriously, today is the day. Today is the day to beat the Colts in Indy and to show everybody in the NFL that, hey, we are coming into the AFC playoffs strong and ready to play. If they lose today, hey, y'all got it. We're going to be back in the wild card, hoping to upset teams. I don't want to do that. I want to win the division and play at least one home game in the playoffs. After that, bets are off the table.
First off, I want to say you put the wrong team for me down in the scroll thing, because I definitely picked the Oilers.
Oh, here we go with
I don't know what this other team is.
Anyways,
that for me. But I have chosen the Oilers, but my football brain is telling me I should have picked the Colts. The Colts have the 11th best rushing defense, and I mean, if you can't run the ball, the Titans just aren't the same team on offense, and the defense is horrendous. The Titans defense is horrendous.
Trash. It's
so
correct.
My concern is Phillip Rivers and that Colts offense may become a shootout. I think it may be a shootout because the Titans defense is so bad, and I just don't know about the Titans in the shootout. I'm picking the Oilers because let me just say this: I have faith in Derrick Henry. I think that this is like we have transitioned to the time where the Oilers do what they do best.
Winter is coming.
Man, they're about to pound the Colts down. Like everybody that plays them here on out, they are pounding you down. And if you aren't ready for it, it's going to be a long game for you. And that's what I think is going to happen today. But again, my football brain is telling me, don't sleep on the Colts.
No, I 100% agree. Because me taking my fandom out of it, the Colts should win this game. The Colts should win this game. You're at home. You have all the momentum. You know, if you win this game, you are pretty much home free to win the division. So all I'm saying is it is more pressure on the Colts to win this game. But again, the Titans, this is on the Titans to win this game to prove to everybody else that they are not the titty boy Titans anymore.
Yeah, and I think they realize how important this game is. I think that's what they're going to show up. They know they lost 2 weeks ago. They're going to show up this week, and I think that's what makes the difference for me.
I 100% agree, and that's another game that we're about to get into. That's why I picked another team to have an upset on this team, and we'll talk about very shortly because they need to win more than the other team. All right, Raiders versus Falcons. Shout out to those Raiders out there traveling in Atlanta. I got my boy Chris Bradley out there with Deuce checking out the game in the new Mercedes-Benz Georgia Dome, whatever you want to call it. And one thing I know about Raider fans, they travel and they are deep in Atlanta.
Yeah, I picked Atlanta on this one because they're playing in Atlanta. The Raiders lost a real close game to the Chiefs, so I think they might still be recovering from that. Also, they haven't been consistent. I just don't know if I trust Derek Carr yet to come out and play the way he did against Kansas City. I wouldn't be surprised if he proves me wrong and he comes out and he lights Atlanta up, but I won't believe it until I see it. So I'm going to choose Atlanta. I think the Raiders defense is okay. They're so-so. And I think Atlanta they have a good offense. They have a good team. They just don't know how to win games for some reason, or they throw it away. So
I 100% agree on what you're talking about with Derek Carr and the Raiders. You look great against the Chiefs. Can you duplicate what you did against the Chiefs, against the Raiders? Against the Falcons, against the Bengals, against whoever other teams you play in the future? Moving forward for the rest of the season, can you continuously play like that? Because if you can, you will give the Raiders an opportunity to maybe make an upset in the playoffs. So the Raiders, I think, is a team that we definitely have to keep our eyes on the lookout for because we just don't know what's going to happen with them. Let's get to the comments right quick with Greg. Greg says, I think the Titans are going to pull it off. It's more important to the Titans than the Colts. Again, like we stated before, I agree on that, but we just have to wait and see. All right, Saints and Broncos. Now, hey, I don't know if anybody's heard the reports out there yet. I hope you all have. You've been up a couple of hours so far this morning. But the Broncos are down to no quarterbacks. No official quarterbacks.
You mean they don't have any.
Down to 0 official quarterbacks on the roster due to, of course, COVID-19. At the moment, they have a wide receiver that haven't played quarterback since college, trying to pretty much fill in the role. The Broncos actually asked the NFL, could one of their offensive coordinators play quarterback as well? Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, the longest yard type of stuff to where you have coaches playing longest yard / semi-pro football. Those are the only times that I've seen that happen.
Oh my gosh.
The reason why I want to definitely pay attention to this game, the Saints are going to win this game. But it's going to be very interesting to see how the Broncos play this out. Are we going to run the ball? majority of times, are we gonna get somebody on some play action and somebody's 1-on-1 and just heave it up and all of a sudden, going down the field for 60 yards? I could really see the Broncos at one point in time leading this game. Mark my words. I can see them leading this game at one point in time in this game, and the Saints come back and win it.
Oh my gosh!
And Saints come back and win it. But I'm so serious. Playing in Denver, you know how Mile High is.
It doesn't matter.
There's going to be some crazy thing that's going to happen. Mark my words, the Broncos will be up at one point in time, and the Saints will win this game.
X, you are wilding out, Brad. Think that an NFL team, if that happens, the Saints, all of them, should just go ahead and hang it up.
Like Greg says, if the Saints lose this game, they deserve all the slander.
Not even if they lose.
I agree.
If the Broncos lead at any point, the Saints, they deserve all the slander in the world.
Now, why is that, though? Because remember, this is Drew Brees. This is the Drew Brees-less Saints right now. This is Taysom Hill.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Why? The Broncos defense is still there, though.
They don't have a quarterback.
The Broncos defense is still there, though.
How would they, Brett? How are they going to score?
Hey, this is backyard. This is backyard football all over again. You put your best athlete at quarterback. You let this. All this is the Ravens offense. Just run the Ravens offense. You good?
Oh no,
that's all you got to do.
If the Broncos offense scores at any point in this game, I will slander them worse than I'm going to slander Nate Robinson for the rest of his life.
Yo, yes. And speaking of Nate Robinson, we definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in because I was knocked out from that knockout because of how bad he did it for our ancestors and whatnot. I felt my ancestors from great past time felt that hit. So I was just, we gonna move along. Nate Robinson, Jesus, oh Lord, all right. Battle of Cali. Maybe 2 years ago, there's been a lot better of a game, but of course, unfortunately, due to all the injuries for the 49ers, this should be an easy game for the Rams. I won't say easy, but this should be one of them take care of business type of games. Do what you need to do and get ready for next week. Of course, we talked about early in the show with Aaron Donald. I will say this. I said this throughout the week talking to Adrian Lunsford. This 1-2 combo in Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey is something that people have not talked about throughout this year. There's probably is reason why the Rams have been able to get back on track defensively because of them two.
Oh yeah. I mean, the two of them, when you got somebody that can rush the passer the way Aaron Donald can, and then you got somebody that can basically lock down an entire side of the field.
We saw with DK Metcalf.
Man, that right there can't be overstated, and that's part of the reason why I'm picking the Rams, and that's part of the reason why I believe in the Rams moving forward. Because if they can continue doing what they're doing now, I mean, it's hard to beat a team like that.
I agree, and I talked to Adrian Lunsford early in the season, and he kind of rode the Rams off, and he didn't think that they would be able to compete with the Seahawks or even the Cardinals. But I was somebody that was very, very. Like, I'm a believer in the Rams because for some reason, something about Sean McVay, he's able to galvanize his team. He's he reminds everybody of a young John Gruden. For some reason, he's able to put the pieces together and do what they need to do to make a run. I think Jared Goff is the best system quarterback for him because the same way Derek Carr is doing right now when it comes to, we don't need you doing what Derek Carr do. I need you to do what John Gruden needs you. And you're making that John Gruden face. I like that, actually. I need you to do what John Gruden needs you to do. Same thing with Sean McVay for this year with Jared Goff. Last year, Jared Goff didn't have that great of a year. This year has been a lot more improved, less turnovers, and just placing the ball where it needs to go, letting your athletes do what they need to do. That's what I'm talking about with the Rams this season. And again, if they continue this, I will not be surprised if they are in the NFC Championship game.
Wow. That's pretty big to say. Jared Goff in that offense is the reason why I have doubts about the Rams. I know their defense. I know their defense is real. I know their defense can do what they need to do. It's that offense and Jared Goff. I don't know how I feel about Jared Goff right now. Maybe it'll change in a week or two, but for right now, I still got some doubts about him. So I'm still iffy about that NFC Championship game you're talking about. But I will pick them for this game because 49ers.
I believe in Jared Goff more than I believe in Kirk Cousins and Phillip Rivers, and we'll move along. We'll move along with that.
The Phillip Rivers one is.
I will take Jared Goff over Phillip Rivers any day right now. I'm just saying. All right. And speaking of games that I talked about before, when it comes to teams needing this more, the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. I feel like the Buccaneers will have this quote-unquote upset game against the Chiefs. I don't really think it'll be an upset. I think both teams are not evenly matched, but when the Buccaneers are playing at its highest level, I think they kind of do match up with the Chiefs. I think the Buccaneers need this win a lot more than the Chiefs do, and because of the Buccaneers being at home, I want to go ahead and take the Buccaneers.
I definitely agree with you that the Buccaneers need this game more than the Chiefs do. The Chiefs don't need this game. The Chiefs only need this game from the standpoint of if you want a chance at being the number one seed in the AFC, you definitely need to win this game to keep pace with the Steelers and hope that they drop a game or something like that. But outside of that, the Buccaneers definitely need this game more than the Chiefs do. The Buccaneers are in a playoff race at this point now. They have decided to drop themselves back into that playoff race. Tom Brady needs to play well, and I'm sorry, he's not going to do it against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is, I think, looking forward to this matchup. There's a lot of talk about like the heir apparent. I think it was like that when Kobe was playing against Michael, when LeBron played against Kobe and stuff like that. Passing of the torch. I think Patrick Mahomes is really coming for this game, and I just think that Patrick Mahomes is going to light it up because he wants to prove to everybody like, my time is now. Like, I'm taking over this torch. I'm done with it. And I think Andy Reid is going to give him that. He's going to let him do it. He's going to let him fly. I think Andy Reid is going to come up with some tricky stuff. We've been seeing some tricky stuff. I think Andy Reid is going to come up with a lot of things. He and Eric Bieniemy are going to let Patrick Mahomes do his thing. Tyreek Hill had a big game last week against the Raiders. I think it only continues. Travis Kelce is still doing, some crazy things.
Travis Kelce leads all, of course, tight ends with receiving yards, and he's actually top 5 in total receiving yards. That's wide receivers included. So that just goes to show you what Travis Kelce was able to do this year.
But I don't discount that Bucs defense. Just Jason Pierre-Paul and the rest of that defensive line have been crazy good this year.
Don't forget about Sue. Sue's in there as well.
And Dominic Sue. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm still going to have to rock with my team. I'm going to pick the Chiefs, and we're going to ride like that.
Definitely understand. Hey, you got to go with your team. No problems with that. Greg says, I'm not so sure on the Jared Goff point, Mr. X Williams, and that's perfectly fine. And that's perfectly fine. We have to wait and see how the season plays out. And again, I'll be here to let y'all know that y'all wrong. And also, shout out to Lloyd Kirkendall, my former sergeant back in Korea. He says, I wanted to see the Bucs win this game, and I want to as well. Hopefully they can. And we just have to wait and see how that game goes. All right, of course, the oldest football rivalry in the NFL, the Bears versus the Packers. This game should go the way it should go. The Packers should take care of business playing in Lambeau Field, but we do know how the Packers are from time to time. They like to let certain games get away from them, and I don't think it's going to be this one because they have Mitch Trubisky, and then, of course, backup you have Nick Foles, and I just don't see it happening with the Bears. I do see the Bears maybe giving Aaron Rodgers a little bit of trouble on that defensive side. I do see that happening, but I don't see the Bears scoring more than 20 points.
I agree. I think this is the Packers game to lose. I think the Packers are going to have to just come out, play no nonsense, not let them hang around, and just take it to them and beat them early. I think the defensive side for the Bears, like you said, that's probably what's going to keep them in this game. If the defense is able to do what they normally do and harass Aaron Rodgers, cause some noise, the Bears could potentially squeak this out, but I just don't believe in that. I don't believe in Mitchell Trubisky at all. So I'm definitely picking Packers.
Yeah, again, we're all on the same boat on that one. It's the quarterback situation for the Bears that we're worried about. All right, let's go ahead and get into Monday Night Football. Seahawks versus the Eagles. And if this was, the Eagles of past, maybe a year or two, this might be a better game. We might be able to pick the Eagles. But because Russ has been cooking and because the Seahawks are a lot better team than the Eagles are right now, got to go ahead and go with the Seahawks.
Picking the Seahawks. This is definitely a throwaway game for me because I don't see the Eagles competing with the Seahawks. The one bright spot that comes out of this game is that word on the street is that Jalen Hurts was getting first team reps.
Yes, so, I did see that.
I would like to see a little more of Jalen Hurts out there, a little less of Carson Wentz. Let's see what we got with Jalen Hurts, and maybe Jalen Hurts takes over for the rest of the year and Carson Wentz sits up on the bench like he should be because he has been playing horrible. And at this point, the Eagles they got some pressure coming from that football team in Washington. There's some pressure being put on them. If they lose this game, they, I believe, lose the lead in the division, which then, wow. Because they should be winning that division
because the Washington football team will come back and win that division. That would be the 2020 story.
That would be embarrassing.
Oh my goodness.
Embarrassing.
Oh my goodness. Now, speaking of the Eagles, before we move on to the next game, I don't know if you've seen reports, but the owner of the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie, apparently walking out on practices and apparently didn't want to travel to this game. Didn't travel to last week's game because he was so tired of having to watch this team play. Now, most likely, if that is all true, it sounds like there will be a shakeup in the Eagles organization moving forward and not having Doug Peterson as their head coach. How do you feel about that, Ish?
I think it might be time for changes. I definitely agree. It has looked bad. And even with the injuries that their fans have been trying to say, like, oh, we're missing this person. To be honest, they should still be doing better than what they're doing. Some of the people who have stepped in are actually pretty decent pieces, and you would expect a better result on the field. And it has just been bad to watch, bad all around. And I wouldn't be surprised if Peterson is out, Carson Wentz is out, and we start rebuilding in Philadelphia, which rebuilding in that division isn't that bad.
It's not that hard. Yeah.
You probably still could win the division next year.
Yeah. On some serious note, the Eagles are in a very tough situation of being between a rock and a hard place because from what I saw as well, next year's cap, they're already in the red. It's going to be hard for them to be able to get free agents to come in and sign with them. They pretty much are going to have to roll with who they got moving forward next year. And if if they are going to move from Wentz and go to Jalen Hurts, to put all that pressure on Jalen Hurts, I mean, it's just BS. It's low key kind of BS. It's upsetting, but it's just the cards that you have to play from time to time. The cards that you are dealt, right?
I agree.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up this show with Tuesday night football. This is not Thursday night football. This is Tuesday night football. Ravens and Steelers. This was the game that was supposed to be played, of course, Thanksgiving Day. But due to, of course, COVID-19, you had the running back group for the Ravens get COVID-19. So they pushed the game to Sunday at first. A couple more people, including Lamar Jackson, got COVID. So they decided to push the game to Tuesday. With that being said, that also makes their Thursday game get pushed to Sunday as well. You see our picks for the game. Before we get into the game, I want to ask you, Ish. This is our second game this year we've had on Tuesday night. The first one was with the Titans. Now we have it with the Ravens and Steelers. How do we feel about football being played on Sunday nights, Monday nights, and Tuesday nights?
I don't know if I'm necessarily a fan of Tuesday night games, especially when it results in games on Thursday being pushed back. I think if it's a Tuesday night game with Thursday night games still that week, I might still be interested in it, but I would prefer if we're not getting a Thursday night. I would prefer a Thursday night game instead of a Tuesday night game, because I just think that it's nice to have those 2 days in between, and then have the Thursday game kind of getting you closer to Sunday, rather than have a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then nothing until Sunday.
No, I definitely understand. I'll say this: we've gotten spoiled this year with being able to have these Tuesday games, because it gives you, because you when Monday's over, you think, all right, well, see, the week is over with, go ahead and get ready for next week. Well, you get a little extra game on that Tuesday. It's fun to watch. Now, I will say this: what I do not like, of course, is the players not being able to have adequate time to recover for the next game. Yeah. Playing football, you have to have minimum at least 5 days. I think at least playing professional football, you got to have at least minimum 5 days to be able to recover and play another game. And if you do not believe me, then go put on some pads, go put a helmet on, and go out there on the field and go try it yourselves. Because I promise you, people that think that you can play football 2 or 3 games a week, you are crazy. You are crazy. So the NFL, I know everything's been fluctuated due to COVID-19, but moving forward, I don't care too much for Thursday night football games, but maybe a Tuesday night. Again, maybe we might have to figure some things out. Instead of Thursday, we could do it on Tuesday. The team that plays on Tuesday, they get that whole bye week. They get that whole week off until next Monday. Something like that. You get a Monday night football game as well. Again, maybe we can figure some things out instead of that Thursday, because we have players since day one. Since day one, they started this Thursday night football, have been complaining about how it is crucial on athletes' bodies that they are not able to recover.
Yeah, it makes sense. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's all now. You got anything else to say before we get up out of here, Ish?
No, I'm interested to see how things go. I'm excited about that Tuesday game because it's a must-win for the Ravens. So,
big game. It definitely is, and especially with their schedule, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting for like a couple other teams moving forward. And for us to get up out, for wrap up the rest of the show, please make sure you guys like and share this broadcast. Please make sure you subscribe on the Sports Plug YouTube page, and also if you are checking things out on Twitter, please make sure you follow xwilliams81 on Twitter. So for next time, we of course will be back on Tuesday to recap Week 12. Thank you guys for checking out the show, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you.